Deep in the barren desert, where phone signals don't reach and no known roads pass, there is a prison no one knows about. A prison that does not hold ordinary murderers or conventional criminals, but entities and creatures that have committed crimes beyond human comprehension. I arrived at the prison in an armored vehicle under heavy security. I was not allowed to bring any personal belongings, just the guard uniform and my identification badge. At the prison gate, an old man with a pale face gave me a quick glance before muttering, "Do not look them in the eyes, do not respond to the whispers, and if you hear knocking on your cell door, ignore it." I thought he was just a crazy old man, but what I witnessed later made me realize that every word he said was a genuine warning. The prison itself was unlike anything I had seen before. The walls seemed to breathe, expanding and contracting in a way that made my skin crawl. Every corridor was dimly lit, and the flickering lights cast unsettling shadows that sometimes moved when they shouldn't. The air was thick with a scent I couldn't quite place, something metallic, mixed with decay. I tried to ignore it and focus on my duties, but the feeling of being watched never left me. The first cell that caught my attention belonged to Marcus. He stood in the dark, smiling, moving without making a single sound. I read his file. Marcus, crime, stealing voices. Anyone who speaks to him loses their voice forever. Notes: do not attempt to communicate with him. Do not let him enter open areas. In the second cell, Eliana sat before a wall filled with drawings. Each painting depicted a different person, some with gouged out eyes, others screaming in silence. Name: Eliana. Crime: anyone she draws dies with the same expression she depicted. Notes: do not stare at her paintings. Do not let her draw you. The last cell was the most terrifying. No one was visibly inside, only complete darkness. Yet the air around it was charged with an unnatural energy. Warning: if it escapes, the world will never be the same. On the first night, I heard whispers coming from the prison walls, as if the place itself was speaking. When I opened my eyes, I saw someone standing at my cell door. A shadow with no features knocked 3 times, then vanished. I tried reviewing the security cameras, but all I saw was static and overlapping whispers repeating my name. At exactly 3:33 a.m., the alarm sirens blared suddenly. I ran to the cell corridors to find the doors opening on their own. Marcus was the first to emerge, smiling as the voices of the guards disappeared one by one. Eliana was drawing frantically, and with each completed painting, a guard fell dead with the exact expression she had sketched. But the worst was the last prisoner. The cell that had been locked for years was now open, and the entity that emerged had no fixed form. It moved between the shadows, shifting through walls as if it was part of them. Anyone who looked at it froze in place as their bodies slowly began to decay. I tried to escape, but the doors were sealed shut. Marcus approached me, and I felt my voice fading away. I tried to scream, but no sound came out. Eliana was drawing me. I saw my distorted face on the paper, my eyes missing. I knew I had only minutes before her sketch became reality. The halls were filled with chaos. The other prisoners, sensing an opportunity, began to claw at their cell doors, screaming in languages I didn't understand. The air grew thick with unnatural sounds, somehow more than just screams, more than human. I saw guards falling one by one, their bodies contorting into impossible angles before they stopped moving altogether. Marcus was getting closer, and with every step, I felt a weight pressing on my throat. I had to move. I had to find a way to stop them. I remembered the only weapon said to be capable of stopping them: the cursed shackle, kept in the emergency room. I ran as fast as I could, shadows chasing me, Marcus's whispers echoing inside my head. When I reached the room, I found the shackle, but before I could use it, I felt a cold hand gripping my arm. I turned to find the last entity staring at me with no discernible features, and then I felt unbearable pain. With the last of my strength, I threw the shackle at the entity, and a deafening scream shook the prison walls. Marcus collapsed to the ground, powerless, and Eliana tore her painting to pieces, causing the curse that was about to kill me to vanish. But when I looked at my hand, it was gone. My right arm had been severed completely. Control over the prison was restored. But the cameras recorded something terrifying. Before the door closed on the last entity, it whispered something incomprehensible, then smiled. In the official report, they wrote only one sentence. These entities do not die, they only wait for the next chance to escape. But I know the truth. That night, when I returned to my cell, I saw something etched into the wall. Something that hadn't been there before. 5 simple words, written in what looked like my own blood. We are already on the outside. In the following days, strange things began to happen. I would wake up with scratches all over my body, as if something had been trying to drag me away in my sleep. The whispers never stopped. The prisoners remained locked up, but I could feel their presence more than ever. One night, while doing my rounds, I heard my own voice calling out to me from one of the dark hallways. It was an exact replica of my voice, begging for help. I didn't turn around. I didn't want to see what was standing behind me. And now, every night at 3:33 a.m., I hear the knocking on my door again. I don't know how much longer I can ignore it.